Hi everyone. So today we've been looking at who's in charge. That's the theme of John chapter 19, and so I want to talk to you guys about who's in charge of you. Well, as we're talking about who's in charge, I need your help. So whenever I hold up this crown, I want you to say who's in charge. But not just say it, I want you to call it out. So let's practice.
Who's in charge?
Cool, let's try it once more just so you get the hang of it. Ready?
Who's in charge?
Awesome. So if you do that every time you see the crown, that's going to help me. So we've seen that there are a few people who thought they were in charge. What made them in charge? Were they really powerful? Were they loud and popular? Or were they really clever? Sometimes people who are in charge are made the king. In the Bible, being the king means being in charge. Well, let's look at another place where someone is usually in charge. I have 3 friends with me today. No, here we go. 3 friends, and we're going to think about who's in charge.
Who's in charge?
Well, we have the elephant. He is strong and powerful. Do you think he could be king? He could squash something by stepping on it. Surely the powerful one is in charge. Or is it a galah? A galah makes a very, very loud noise. Surely the loud one is in charge. Or is it the ant? Is it the ant? They are very small and you think they're weak, but they are clever and very organised. Is it the one who's clever and has a plan that's in charge?
Who's in charge?
Well, most people would say it's the elephant because he's strong and powerful. Well, let's have a look at the characters in our story. We have Pilate. He represents the Romans. He's in charge of running the country. Then we have Caiaphas. He represents the Jews. He's in charge of the spiritual community. And then we have our third character, Jesus. He claimed to be king of God's kingdom and in charge of everything. But the question, is he in charge?
Who's in charge?
Well, what about the Jews? What about the Jews? Are they in charge? They are a large group and they seem pretty popular. They had a loud voice, and so Pilate is scared. They seem to convince Pilate to kill Jesus. They seem pretty loud, like our galah.
Who's in charge?
Well, let's have a look. No, it's not Caiaphas.
Who's in charge?
What about Pilate? Is he in charge? He seems pretty powerful. It was up to him who was crucified and who was set free. It's up to him what they call Jesus, king or not. And so he chooses to call Jesus king of the Jews and to crucify him. So he seems pretty powerful like the elephant. So,
who's in charge?
Is it Pilate? No, it's not Pilate, even though he was powerful like the elephant.
Who's in charge?
What about Jesus? All term we've been looking at Jesus, what he said and what he did and what that tells us about him. He seemed in charge of lots of things. The world around us, people's health, people's food, angels and demons, even life itself. And he seemed to have power over everything. We found that he's the Messiah, the Son of God. But look at him now. He's pretty small and weak, like the ant. Maybe he has a plan. Well, we know Jesus has power, like the elephant, but he's not using it now. We know that Jesus, who spoke loudly and got lots of followers, but now he's being really quiet like a mouse. Why? Why wouldn't he fight back and take charge? Well, it's because God had a plan. And everything that was happening fit God's plan. Right from the beginning, God had a plan. Like this. And it needed a Messiah to save the world. A special kind of Messiah. It wasn't a Messiah like Pilate, who used his power to make the people happy. See? It doesn't fit. It wasn't a Messiah like Caiaphas, who used his loud voice. See, that doesn't fit either. It's the one who could have done those things, but he chose to die on a cross, just as God had planned. One who would make it possible to have life forever, just as God had planned.
Who's in charge?
It is Jesus. See, Jesus fits into God's plan. God promised a Messiah, and Jesus is that Messiah. If Jesus is in charge, that makes him king. And he is our king. And if he's our king, we can trust him. We can listen to him and do what he says, whether things are good or difficult. Trusting Jesus is the best option because it fits in God's plan. Like this. It might feel like he's not in charge now with what's happening around the world, but that's what it looked like here. But he had a plan, and he still has a plan, and he will do exactly what is best. We can trust him.